So how I actually found you, well, firstly, what I believe is when you're kind of like starting to do all the things in that space, things just pop up. So I had a sleep coach for my son because he wasn't sleeping at all. And then she posted that she did a reading with you on human design. And I just, thought, oh, okay, well, this lady helped me. So I'm going to, click the link. And then, yeah, then we signed up for coaching for like 8 months. But yeah, I wasn't looking for a mind coach. I didn't even know it was like a thing.
I love that you started calling me a mind coach from like,
You like that? You
yeah.
must.
I honestly talk me through that. Like, where did this mind coach term come from, and like, what does it mean to you? I guess, like, why mind coach?
Well, I feel like life coach is more like all the fundamentals in all different areas, like, maybe like finance and your career and this and that and this and that. Whereas with you, it's more mind and soul. I think that's where I got my coach from.
Love
It's
it.
more spiritual, I guess.
There's definitely some spiritual essence to it. Overall, how was your experience?
So I had like a really good time because I felt like that whole journey was me coming back to myself. So it was like the best. And yeah, you really showed me how to like be vulnerable and taught me all these self-worth and self-love acts and things that I can do just for me, no one else. And it completely changes your whole life.
Tell me how it changed your life.
I'll say one of the main takeaways that I learned from you was how to, like, we taught me how to set boundaries with people. Because in like the past couple of years, I've had a lot of personal boundaries of mine crossed, and learning how to like regain that like trust and self-respect is like it changes your whole life.
And so, like, why is it important to set boundaries?
If you don't set boundaries, then you're putting other people's needs before your own, and then you just end up in these situations that you do not want to be in. And then you end up, then all the the negative self-talk comes and all the anxiety and all that kind of stuff. Whereas if you just were firm from the start and knew how to set that limit, you don't have to deal with any of that shit that comes after. So that was the best thing for me because that's something I never got taught in my life. And I don't think most people know.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I mean, it's definitely not something they're teaching in school, and a lot of our parents, haven't
yeah.
learned those things either, so they haven't been able to pass them on to us.
But one of the things was learning how to say no. That was like one of the best boundaries ever. And then another one, just like having enough self-worth and respect that you don't have to do what other people want. And like without having that confidence, you kind of, that's when you start people pleasing and receive validation externally, like all of that stuff. And when you kind of get it all from yourself, it's so much easier to just put these, limits in place for your personal life, work life, friendships, everything. And it's just the best.
Like, what had to change for you to be able to go from just being like, oh, whatever, I'll just go, to then being like, actually, I'm going to say no? Like, what had to change within you for you to change your behavior? And how did you change that?
Well, I just built up a lot more like self-respect. So one of the things we did was the mirror work. So I really like that because like super vulnerable. And as you know, that was like really hard for me to be vulnerable. And just like believing that, you are like worthy and all that kind of stuff. And you don't have to do what you don't want to do. But yeah, I guess just believing in yourself first. And that's where it all stems from.
What do you think were some of the things that we did that really helped you to shift those beliefs?
Well, we did a bit of the hypnotherapy. And we were always kind of like, well, I guess you were showing me how to figure out what I would look like as my highest self, from like what I was wearing, what I looked like, what kind of makeup I was wearing, where I was, that kind of thing. So that was a really good exercise to do, and the anchors as well. So when you kind of almost like activate your higher self mode.
So, for anyone who doesn't know what anchors are, how would you describe them?
Almost like what's something like maybe a button or something you can press that's going to take you right to where you want to be. It's like a light switch.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
just to explain, like, what we're doing with the anchors is basically the only meaning that applies in our lives is the meaning that we apply to things. So when we are setting a subconscious anchor, like particularly with, somewhere on your body, so what we'll do is install an anchor. So if we're applying meaning to, okay, when I press down on my thumb, I am going to activate this state of feeling empowered and feeling confident and feeling worthy, whatever is the belief is that we want to instill. What we can do by installing anchors into the subconscious, into our subconscious programming, is by applying meaning to whatever the anchor is that we want it to be. So for example, for me, I have a clear quartz crystal, and whenever I'm holding it, whenever I'm like communicating or coaching and that kind of thing, the anchor that I've applied to that clear quartz crystal is that I will have clear communication. So really that's why the anchors are so powerful, because we're installing a subconscious like meaning and program to help you get into that state whenever you need to be.
And you can almost just feel your energy level shift straight away if you do it often enough. You just, oh, all right.
What would you say to someone who's maybe never worked with a coach before?
I think you just have to completely trust that you've met you, as in like you, Sarah, for a reason, and that everything will end up coming together at the end and just completely the wave. And what I did, I think at the start, I chose maybe the middle time frame for the coaching, then I ended up adding extra at the end. So you might as well just do yourself a favor and go for the biggest one.
And why is that?
Because you just want more and more. Like once you start, like, because it took me a while to get to the whole self-worth, self-love part. And then when you break through that part, then there's like the other levels. So then you start learning your values and how to live in alignment as your higher self and all that kind of things, like all the different levels. It's just, yeah, it's really empowering. It was a really good journey. I think it was like maybe we caught up every couple of weeks, and it was always my Friday or Saturday night. And I was like, I don't care. I'm here for this. I'm not going out. I'm doing this. And yeah, I learned so much. So I would just say to, yeah, just put 100% in, because you'll get 100% back.
Yeah, you were so committed, honestly, a dream client. And that's the thing, like I feel I totally agree. Like in my own experience, like working with coaches myself, once you start to experience the shifts, like you do want to keep going, because you're like, fuck, this
Yeah.
actually works. Like I feel so empowered. Like
Yeah.
what more can I discover about myself, and what other shifts can I make in my life? And you start to realize that it actually is so possible.
And it's not even that hard. And I always refer back to like the book and everything, because I used to write everything down. And yeah, I do read over a lot of the things and all the stuff I used to write. And I'm like, whoa. So yeah, definitely there's a lot of growth there as well.
And I know you've mentioned to me before that sometimes you talk to your friends and even your partner about like some of the things that some of the tools and stuff we used to use to help them as well.
Yeah. I guess to put it in a nutshell, like I liked figuring out what your values are, because you can't really know what you want in life unless you have, a knowing of what your values are. So I think it took us a while to break it down to exactly what my values are, and then I can choose to either live in alignment with it or not to. So yeah, that was a really good tool. But yeah, the mirror work I think helped me a lot.
So for anyone who hasn't done mirror work before, or is like, what is mirror work? Like, how would you describe it?
So basically staring yourself in the mirror and just letting whatever comes up come up, and not to judge it, and just to kind of accept the thoughts. And if they're a bit negative at the start, they'll get better. I'm just more honest, like with myself. And I've learned how to let everything come up and feel the emotions, and then just let things pass, instead of, burying, and then everything comes up one day and you like have a moment. There's like none of that. It's just accepting it as it comes through. And then I think I said it before, like just taking the time at the end of the day to just reflect. That's a big thing. And I've never really given myself that much time, and you should. And you give everyone else your time, so why not yourself?
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
so what do you think were some of the tools and things that we did together that helped you to, I guess, become more aware of your emotions and, accept them, and to be able to work through them rather than
I think
resist them or push them down?
made me do things like go sit in a cafe without your phone. Think like literally just sit with yourself. Don't like pacify on Instagram, or don't have a podcast going, or you're doing the washing, like just sit with yourself and then just let things come up. I would highly recommend it, because I feel like a lot of us get lost in the sense that we kind of go away from ourselves a lot, and coming back to yourself is honestly like the best gift that you can do for yourself. And even if I compare myself now to 12 months ago when I first met you, like I'm a completely different person emotionally. And I love who I am. So I think everyone should experience that. I feel like not going to judge it, because at the time I didn't know better. But now that I do, I would want everyone to learn what I learned, because it's not something that everyone gets the opportunity to learn, and they should. And you shouldn't have to go through heaps of shit first to learn it. It'd be nice to learn all these things so you're equipped from the start. But everything works out the way it should. So
It's all part of the beautiful journey that we call life, isn't it?
it is. It is. And I think one of the other main things that I learned from you is to stop controlling the outcome. Even like playing out scenarios in your mind, because you completely limit yourself, because your brain only knows what it's experienced. So if you keep, replaying the same things that you've been through, that's what's going to end up happening, literally.
Yeah.
So you just got to let go.
Is there anything else that you would like to share? Or
just that I'm super grateful for meeting you and everything that you've shown me. I use your tools every day, and I share a lot of it with other people. So everyone's like, "What? Tell me more about that." I'm like,
I am so grateful for you as well. Like, I absolutely love working with you, and it's just been like, honestly, like I must admit, like even for me, like as a coach, like it's quite emotional to like watch the transformation unfold and take place, and just like see your wins come through, and like you text me and be like, "Oh my God, like this happened today, like this," and it's like, fuck yes, like it is just the best like experience ever. Before I let you go, let's touch on human design as well, because did I introduce you to human design, or had you already like known about it?
So I did a reading at the start, like with you, and then I tried to, like before our meeting, tried to kind of like Google what it was and everything. But no, human design was a lot for me as well, because it almost like, I guess I don't know how to explain it. Like, that you have these gifts in your life, but when you can see it literally in front of you, written down, or someone tells you, you're just like, yes, that is legit. Like, for example, my energy levels, like I'm manifesting generator. So I'm always can have like, multi-passionate, a million things going on at once. I don't have to finish anything, can do whatever I want. And that's kind of when I'm like in my genius, I think they call it. And I used to think, maybe I have like ADD or something, because I always had a million things going on. But it totally, it's like a validation, but like a sense of relief.
I totally agree. Like that's why I love that tool, and bring it into like the start of a coaching journey, because it's like such a beautiful foundation, or like roadmap, or like gives you sort of permission to really step into your true self. And
you can just continuously read your gifts if you ever need a bit of a reminder, and it's really good.
On that note, what have been like the sort of tangible physical things in like reality, now 3D reality, that have changed for you?
So, one of the biggest ones is I got a promotion at work, and I navigated through all that, because there was a lot of BS there at the start, let me tell you. I have a nice partner now, and prior to him I hadn't been in a healthy relationship, and my son is thriving, and he's 2.5. Then I guess like I've just developed a whole nother level of friendships as well with like different women, because so many people you speak to are on this kind of path. And it's not a conversation that comes up every day, but I feel like when you're in it, you meet these people,
It's like your vibe attracts your tribe, right? Like to
Yeah,
be such a cliche, but it's like as we change and our energy changes, like we start to attract different things, different people, different synchronicities in our life because
yeah.
we're becoming an energetic match for that now.
It gets better and better. And now, like, I read now, and I never used to read before. And I listen to all these like podcasts on self love and everything, like the journey that I'm in now. Like, I love all the neuroscience and everything behind it. I would have never thought that I'd be into that, but I'm so into
Yeah.
it.
What did you just say?
But yeah, no, I'm not. I know I've said it to you before, but I just want to say thank you because you really have changed my life. So thank you.
An absolute pleasure. But it's all you. This is the thing. It's like coaches are here to be guides, and to support and, pass on wisdom. But at the end of the day, like I can't actually do the work for you and I can't, create the shifts and like show up every day and be the one to take action. So,
Yeah,
it's my job to empower you and teach you things that have like helped me and, other clients I've worked with on journeys. But at the end of the day, like you're the one doing it and you have to be committed to that and really set the intention to want to create change in your life.
and I feel like people say, you invest in your health by going to the gym, and you buy health insurance, and you go and study a course for your job, and it's like, why does no one invest in their own mental health?
I completely agree.
Well, I feel like your energy is your currency. And someone said something to me like, just picture everything as energy, like especially humans, and you'll look at everyone totally differently. So, like, I guess if you do a few things for yourself in the morning, you set yourself up to have a good day energetically, and then you start attracting, all these things that are just like meant to be for you. It's wild.
On that note, what have been like the sort of tangible physical things in like reality, now 3D reality, that have changed for you, like from the start of our coaching journey to like, life now?
So, one of the biggest ones is I got a promotion at work, and I navigated through all that because there was a lot of BS there at the start, let me tell you. I have a nice partner now, and prior to him, I hadn't been in a healthy relationship. And my son is thriving, and he's 2.5. So, yeah. And then I guess like I've just developed a whole nother level of friendships as well with like different women, because so many people you speak to are on this kind of path. And it's not a conversation that comes up every day, but I feel like when you're in it, you meet these people. And it's like I was with some girl on the weekend, and she was telling me about like my rising moon and all this, and like you just don't do that, you know?
Well, that's it. It's like your vibe attracts your tribe, right? Like to
Yeah,
be such a cliche, but it's like as we change and our energy changes, like we start to attract different things, different people, different synchronicities in our life because
yeah.
we're becoming an energetic match for that now.
And it
Um,
just gets better and better. And now, like, I read now, and I never used to read before. And I listen to all these like podcasts on self love and everything, like the journey that I'm in now. Like, I love all the neuroscience and everything behind it. I would have never thought that I'd be into that, but I'm so into it.
well, thank you so much for your time.